the Game On panel about Cebrae, the Brazilian micro and small business support service. So we'll hear about how Cebrae supports entrepreneurs nationally and locally. How can small business owners activate and go into this vibrant and peculiar industry, which is gaming in Brazil? So we're going to be talking about all the issues involving micro and small companies. This is a session for you who want to become an entrepreneur in gaming. This will be in Portuguese, but we are being simultaneously translated into English. Now I'd like to invite our speakers who are going to be here with us. First, Jane Blandina da Costa from Sebrae, Brasilia. How are you? Hi, everyone. I apologize. We've just tested my video was working, but for some reason, I have a black screen. So I'm trying to correct it, but I'm very happy to be here nonetheless. Thank you so much for inviting me to be here. Eliana, my colleagues here at Cebrae, Danielle, Carolina, Morillia, thank you for being a part of the Cebrae team who is fostering entrepreneurship and is now active in the gaming world through our partnership with Abra Games, right, Eliana? That's right. Don't worry about it. We know that technical issues always happen at the worst moment, but we're here with our other speakers, Carolina Ferreira Niederauer, a project manager at Cebrae, Rio Grande do Sul. Hi, good afternoon. My greetings from the state of Rio Grande do Sul. I'm happy to be here with you, with our colleagues from Cebrae. And we also have Daniele Camilo de Abreu Leite, a technical analyst from Cebrae in Maranhão. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I went to BIG in 2019 in person. It was one of the best events I ever attended in my life. So I'm very happy to be here with you today. Great. And we also have Morillia Medoncinis, a project manager for Cebrae, Ceará. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. It's a big pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me to be here. Thank you, Jani, for helping us, and my colleagues from the rest of Brazil. It'll be great to talk to you about Cebrae. And once again, Eliana Russi, an executive manager at Abra Games. Hi, Eliane. Hi, everyone. We're here today to talk a bit about Cebrae nationwide and the state Cebraes. So I'm going to start my presentation and I'll share my screen with you for a brief presentation. Let me start it, just a second, please. Just a second, and it will work, hopefully. Can you see it now? Yes, we can. Okay, so we discussed the Brazilian Game Developers Association earlier today. We had all of our advisors telling you about our association. So during our session, we told you a bit about our strategies for this year and for the future. One of them is our new partnership with Cebrae, the Brazilian Micro and Small Business Support Service. So this is a technical partnership that will have a bright future for us. We're taking information to regions that still don't work in the gaming industry. So we want to give them the opportunity of working in this industry. So this was the covenant I mentioned for 2021 to 2023. We hope to reach entrepreneurs who still don't work in this industry or those who already do. So we work at different levels of training entrepreneurs, from those who haven't opened their own companies to those who are larger entrepreneurs. So usually we focus on micro, small, and medium-sized companies. So we want to create an online program to take free content to all of how you can join this game. So this is a little of what we did in our partnership, just to show you the importance of our industry and how reactive it is. Any support that's given to it will thrive. So this was the partnership that we had with Apex in 2013. And from 2014 on, we started measuring the return we got in exports. This is how they measure it. So in 8 years, we basically multiplied the exportation value for this project by 18 times. Not all Brazilian companies are in this project. This is going to change once Cebrae joins us. We're going to have more companies, and we'll have a snapshot of 100 Brazilian companies that are going to declare what happened to them since 2014. There was a census in 2018 that showed Brazil had about 400 gaming companies. So this is a symbolic figure. It's not a comprehensive figure, but here we see that these 53 million US dollars in 2020 do not reflect all of the Brazilian industry. This is only a snapshot, but it shows how much we're growing. So we have Jani here with us, who's trying to turn on her camera. We have Jani Langina, who is a representative from the national Cebrae. She was going to tell us about the partnership that we intend to have together. And we also have representatives from the states of Rio Grande do Sul, which already does a lot, right? We know that this is a very successful branch of Cebrae. And we also have Maranhão and Ceará present here. And they've all had great initiatives with many success stories. So we've brought these three managers, well, four with Jani, so that we can learn a bit more about how Cebrae works and what they've done. This partnership with the national Cebrae does not interfere with state partnerships among regions or among local associations. This is an additional initiative from Cebrae. So it does not force anyone to do anything. It's an additional initiative in areas where Cebrae is not working in this industry yet. So with the support of regional Cebraes, which already do a lot, we want to take what has worked to other areas. Cebrae is here at Big Festival, not only in this session, but we have a booth where you can go and talk to someone from Cebrae, and they can tell you about how it works, how Start Out Brazil works. We have Cebrae Lab, and we'll have talks throughout these days, not specifically on Cebrae, but we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, investments, internationalization, how to do business, and we also have business rounds with Cebrae. So we'll be here during the business rounds. If you want to talk to Carolina, if you're from that state, if you want to join this industry, schedule a meeting with her. She'll talk to you either today or during other days. And the same goes for Ceará and Maranhão. And we have other managers during the business rounds. So this is a great opportunity of networking. So now I was going to pass it on to Jani. Is Jani here? Yes, I'm back. Great. So welcome back. Jani is back. Her camera's working. Yes, I had to join with my phone. We tested it just moments ago, but this is how it works when you're going live. If you work with technology, you know how these things go. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm not sure if you were able to watch. Yes, I watched everything. Great. So I was telling them about how this is an additional initiative from Sebrae for the gaming industry. So we'll continue with you. Okay, thank you, Eliana. And you said it all. Game entrepreneurs should go to their state level Cebrae offices. That's where we directly service them. So we brought this wonderful team of women with Carolina, Dunny, and Morillia, who are going to tell us about their experience. But this is more than just an initiative. We're not only servicing, we're not only providing services, but this is a partnership so that we can foster a gaming ecosystem so that we can strengthen them with technology, with our institutions. Our aim is to take this agenda forward. We want to show games as a uh, boost for the Brazilian economy and development. We know that game developers have lost many talents to foreign companies. So we have to play an essential role of fostering a favorable environment here so that they can do business here in Brazil. This partnership started so that we could include Cebrae in this agenda so that you as entrepreneurs uh, know that we are partners at this, that we're here to support you um, on managing your business, modeling your business, and all the opportunities we have here. So overall, our goal is to train entrepreneurs from the gaming industry, and we want to reach an understanding of how important it is to be a formalized company. When you are formal, you have a better market, you have more opportunities, and you can go international. That's the most important thing. This program was formed around the pillars of having a more competitive Brazil. We want to create a favorable business environment, and we want to make entrepreneurs more competitive. We don't want them only to be competitors, but to be competitive with the market. We want to have a strategic network of companies with the main players, not only major companies, but also public and private institutions, uh, straighten the bonds with universities. So when we created this covenant, we wanted to provide access to a favorable environment for entrepreneurs, for gaming entrepreneurs specifically. So I think that's it. You're muted, Eliana. Great. Um, Eliana, so she just gave us an overview. And now we're going to invite our next speakers. Let's start with Carolina from Rio Grande do Sul, who's going to tell us what they've done there. I know a little bit. I'm very proud of what you've started there. The industry there is really leading the pack. They've grown significantly. And this is due to the partnership that you have there. We know that you're helping all the entrepreneurs from your state, and they all know about Cebrae. So tell us a bit about that.
Yes, thank you, Leonie. It's we're very proud to be close to the industry here and being able to collaborate to development and expansion of their businesses. So, just to give you some context, once again, I'd like to thank you all for the invitation. Today, I'm a manager for the Games Project here for our state, and we have a partnership and collaboration for the regional coordination with Paula Rezende. She's the one leading the way for us to start our actions here for this industry and for the market. We started here our operations for games in the state of Rio Grande do Sul in 2015 in very small steps, very shyly. Still, this was all part of different other projects, and as we advanced and were able to understand a little bit more about the particularities and the specifics of the sector of the industry that is very unique and very special needs, we started to tweak these projects. So this is a very specific project called Global Games, focused on supporting training and access to the markets for the digital game developers here in the state so we can contribute to the development of our local industry with support to help them to connect to the market, participating in trade shows and getting connected to big players to actually go international and expand their businesses. Today, the state of Rio Grande do Sul is one of the main states for the industry. We have several universities, 10 universities here that are promoting new entrepreneurs, new workforce for the industry. We recently, with support from the federal government and understanding the full potential of the sector, have started specific initiatives. So Cebrae and the government are working in partnership for the gaming industry. And today, we also have a very strong uh, association here. I'd like to send them some greetings to Adejogos that really help us to connect the companies and Cebrae initiatives. So let's talk about these initiatives. And Eliana, we're talking about how we can get these companies to improve. So we have some challenges for these companies. Today we have a challenge for training, which is the quality of what they are producing, the products and services they are delivering, and the actual management of the business, their leadership profiles. Many of these companies already have uh, teams. They're not a single entrepreneur that are going to develop these products, create the games. So they also need the teams. And in more general terms, we want to provide more opportunities, financial fund resources, so they can actually expand and connect to the state, to Brazil, but also with the world. So these are our main actions today, how to provide training and capacity building through workshops and helping these companies to help to develop their leadership, develop their businesses in terms of management and commercial initiatives, looking for the big festivals, trade shows, so that they can actually have contact with publishers or other businesses to be able to generate more opportunities. So Cebrae is capable of opening these doors to them. That's excellent. Let me tell you a little bit about the work at Cebrae Rio Grande do Sul. The Brazil Games project I was talking about in the previous session is the partnership of Abra Games and Apex Brazil. This project supports the participation of Brazilian delegations in large international events. So, anchor events, for example, the Game Developers Conference. I was going to say that it used to be in San Francisco, now it's digital. The Game Fair in Germany, big festival that used to be in person, now it's also digital. But Cebrae in Rio Grande do Sul knows the importance of these events to generate business opportunities. And they support these delegations from their own state to participate of in these international trade shows with us, and where the matchmaking or the roundtables are the most important points, but there are also learning tracks that are paramount for those who deal with innovation like us, because we need the input. We don't have the time to put everything in a guidebook. You see it's happening, and you hear from the source of people that are actually doing it. So companies from Rio Grande do Sul have the opportunity to follow these international events. I think this has been going on for a few years, right? Yeah, from 2016, and we can see an evolution here in our reports in terms of growing revenue and growing revenue since 2016. That was our first edition. We have the average revenue for these companies were about 8 million. Then it went to 16. Now in 2021, 65 million. So we understand how important it is for them to be present and having a contacts with these events to actually be ready and be seen. This industry we're talking about for entrepreneurs, for executives, if you're listening to us, this is a sector that is very internationalized. It's a truly global industry. Video games, I'm not saying it's just pressing a button or two and that it's going to be localized for any country, any language, but it is a product or a service that is very easy to be exported. It's very easily exported. So the actual barriers or boundaries to go into other markets really need to be overcome. And that's where Cebrae comes in to structure your company here in Brazil. And on the other side of the coin, we actually take you or place you in an optimum position to explore these opportunities. I'd like to thank Carolina now and invite Daniele from the state of Maranhão to tell us what they are doing there, because I've seen some great things from there. Hi, everyone. So, our path, our journey is very similar to Rio Grande do Sul. We were very much inspired by them when we started here. And today, we started these actions in 2018 for the games when we resumed these initiatives in creative economy. So, the city of São Luís and the state of Maranhão have very strong cultural uh, traditions. So our creative industry, our creative economy was very much based on popular culture. So we decided to revamp these actions and focused on areas in Maranhão that had never been served before. So this we're now working in with music, audio visuals, games, literature, and these had never been massively done before. So games was in the middle of all of these sectors. And one of the main purposes or objectives for us was to train and to strengthen these creative networks, since games can interact with several other activities in the creative economy network. So these are activities that we know that are made up by several different actors. So we had two pillars for services, and one through creative economy and Cebrae lab here in São Luís as well. So this is a space for innovation, creativity, actions, and was basically the home base for all of these game led or gaming focused activities. And we've been doing this since 2013. We have about 130 members of the community, and they adopted the Cebrae Lab as their own home. So, in terms of our different actions and activities, we had some very specific gaming initiatives, gaming gems, mentorships, and financing or funding, pricing, balance points, everything that was very basic for management as well, and also going formal. Today is actually the anniversary of our first games studios here in Maranhão, in the state of Maranhão. They are celebrating their third anniversary here. We're very happy for being there since the beginning. So these are the two pillars that we've had here through the Creative Economy Project and Cebrae Lab. We had very interesting results, which was to provide services for Cebrae Maranhão. So the gaming studio here is actually a service provider for us now. So they gamified one of our tools, which is the innovation radar here. That it used to be a very extensive questionnaire, and we turned it into a game. So now it's really cool. And I also believe that it's going to go national, right, Jane? And it's something we really enjoy sharing. And another very interesting participation was during Big Festival. We were here in 2018 with two participants. When in 2019 we already had 9 people, so we saw it growing last year and this year. Because it's been online, we don't even know anymore, can't control the number. But it also generated businesses. Today we have a finalist, a game that is a finalist as best game, best sound. It's a game from the state of Maranhão, and 2 more in the Brazil um, overview. So now we can only thank you all for the support on behalf of AMA Games and our community. Well, those are amazing results. Wonderful. What Daniele said, she mentioned several important things here, and I'm just thinking about the audience that's listening to us that is still not going into entrepreneuring, they're thinking about starting, or those who are on more of the creative side and thinking about the artistic side of the project and are still kind of thinking, maybe is it time to open my company or not? So this is what people on the other side here are thinking. But what Daniele was talking about, this multi-sectorial aspect in our, that is very important for us. And we've mentioned this and we'll keep repeating it because it's super important. Some other verticals in a video game that is not only entertainment. We have games for education, games for healthcare, games for mobility, and several other propositions for the games that can have social impact or serious games. It really depends, but that have these this DNA from professionals that come from the gaming industry, and with several actors who are developers that come from the creative industry, musicians, art directors, game designers themselves. Now there's a specific university, college course, or several to actually train these professionals. So there are applications for the video game industry that are not necessarily uh, in entertainment. However, entertainment, if you get the game right, you actually have a very exponential um, avenue to reach success. But we have cases of companies who work with games for other purposes, and this is something Brazil needs. What I also mentioned in the other presentation, and I'm going to repeat here, what's really important here in the industry is the outreach. This industry here is not based on the São Paulo Rio axis. We have companies, enterprises exporting in Mato Grosso, in Maranhão, in Amazonas, in Ceará, in Fortaleza. So it's really exciting. It's really motivating for those who are on this side here and providing the support to know that what we are able to offer and to foster, you can take and really create an innovation hub in Brazil that we didn't have before. So this is really interesting. Our work is really interesting, and I think I feel very honored. And now I'd like to invite Morillia to talk a little bit about what's going on in Ceará.
Hi, everyone. It's hard to follow those two great presentations from Carolina and Daniele. We always talk about things, right? Especially with Daniele, who's geographically closer to me, and we have, similar situations, and our programs follow the same lines. I had been working with other sides of the creative economy before, And we started working with gaming in 2018. And we know how difficult it is for people who work with creation. There's some people who, have the technical um, talent, but have some trouble turning it into a business. So that's why we wanted to create a program for that. First, with uh, the Entrepreneurs Game Jam, our program with Cebrae developers, we created this name with Ascend, which is our local association here in our state, which only works with established companies. And we decided to work together to create Cebrae developers. So this is the first step in our program, which was to create a game jam. But this game jam was going to be for entrepreneurs, right? To start businesses and not only to develop a game. So we started with a hybrid program. Part of it was in person and part of it was online. And we worked in 4 areas of our state. So we started it from the interior. So we had some areas that were already connected to digital businesses, Sobral and Juazeiro, and a region that also has a connection to academia and digital businesses because all of their university programs are geared towards technology. So this is a city called Jata, and there you have digital design programs, coding programs. All the university programs there are based on technology. So we thought that would be a great potential area for new businesses to appear. So we had mapped about 10 to 15 businesses in the state before. And then in 2018, when we began, during the first round with the game jams, we found 50 potential businesses. And they've been uh, developed until 2020. We had to remodel our program because of the pandemic. We started before the pandemic and we had to continue throughout the pandemic. And we had some great results, as Daniele said. We grew significantly. 100% of the companies have participated in events, especially big. We have an event here for the industry as well, and we managed to include businesses there. They participated and talked to local companies. And we also included gamification for other processes, especially human resources in major companies. So we created a connection between them and these companies for these businesses. And we played a stronger role in BEAG last year and 2019, which I was also able to attend in person. And I hope we can go back to that soon. But technology always brings us closer, but I do think that in person we have a better exchange of information, we have a better connection. We were used to that, and going 100% online sort of makes us have to adapt, right? But as the program evolved, it was recognized by the city and the state. So right now, we're negotiating with the city hall to remodel developers, right? To create developers start. And we want to take to public schools, elementary and high schools here, this program so that at least 500 students can be trained in gaming with the support of the city. We want to take some content to them so that we can have a lot of people prepared to start their own business or to be in other businesses. We hope that this will be a positive movement for digital businesses in Fortaleza, and that goes for gaming and startups. We believe we'll have these connections very soon because Cebrae here in Ceará is structuring an innovation center. I've talked to Daniele about that. So this is a space that we're creating. Ascend has joined us from the beginning because we're starting from scratch. So we want the Innovation Center to also include games, just as Cebrae Lab has. Um, our lab had been used as an informal headquarters for Ascend and for different gaming businesses, and we hope that the Innovation Center can also be a space for that. We want it to be a lab where they'll have information. We have a partnership with the city, so there's a lot to come in 2021 and 2022 for our entire state. That's great. Jenny, do you want to add anything? We got some questions here. Yes, well, I'm very happy and proud to see. Can you hear me? Yes, we can. Carry on. Yes, I'm very proud to see that all the different Cebrae offices are taking part of our strategy. So, this is in line with our partnership. And our role is going to be supporting local Cebraes and training entrepreneurs. So with this agreement, we also want to create a learning journey or a pathway for them, from management to going international to having intellectual property. And we want to make this pathway open to all the state Cebrae offices. I think that's all. And I also want to remind you that Cebrae is a single entity. Although we have different states with different initiatives, they are all being created based on that local demand, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So it's always good to hear how it's working in different states so that we can understand how that location is doing. I think that's all. Great. One of the main bottlenecks that we have, not only in Brazil, but around the world, is a shortage of professionals. Professionals who are also entrepreneurs, right? Not only recent graduates, but those who have had some experience. Large companies have grown even more from the pandemic, and they've absorbed smaller companies, right? They've brought them in. So our challenge is to start more small companies so that they can grow and have a better scale for the demand for professionals here in Brazil. Someone has said that fortunately or unfortunately, with the modern world, you can be Brazilian, live in Brazil, and work for an American company. And you might have a coworker from a place like Israel. Borders no longer exist. All you need to do is have the same language, and you can contribute to different projects in different parts of the world. And we got some questions from the public here. After your studio is created, what do you do? What support should you seek from Cebrae? Is Cebrae offering anything before someone starts a company? And what is Start Out? Is it open? If you don't have anything, if you're only, well, this is not only because it's not a small thing. If you're at the design stage, if you haven't started your business, should I come to Cebrae? So we're getting this kind of question from our chat. So who would like to answer? Let's start with Daniele. Yes, we get that question from individuals who still want to understand how to join the market, right? Or how they can receive our advice. Our first tip is for them to be to join community events, to be a part of community events. It's important to have an engaged community regardless of Cebrae. So Abra Games here has events every once in a while. They get together and have game jams amongst themselves. If they have a project that they uh, need help with, then they get together, and together they can find a solution for that. So that's the first step that we uh, advise people to take. Find professionals wherever you are. Now, in order to establish a company, we support people in opening smaller companies and other kinds. Most of them are micro companies. Any other answers? Yes, well, I think you answered it very well. Let me go back to the chat box. We are getting questions about if Cebrae offers help before you establish a company, and what is Cebrae Start Out, and if it is open to all. Going once, well, I was going to say that Start Out is a national program, right, Johnny? So maybe you can answer. But it is a program on accessing the international market. So this is for studios that already have a product or a project that can be taken to the international market. So Start Out connects you to different markets, depending on what round you are in. You can be taken to another foreign ecosystem, and we're establishing bonds with that ecosystem. That's right, Marilia. And besides Start Out, we also have Conexões Corporativas. Recently, we've seen that there have been demands for open innovation for game developers. So Cebrae has started this conversation with the innovation community. So where we find major players in gaming technology. Can you hear me? Yes, we lost a little bit of what you said. Maybe you can repeat it. Well, I was just adding to what Marilia had answered. Start Out is a way of getting closer to the international market, but we have other initiatives as well. And they want to serve as drivers for technology developers. We have, for example, tech clusters, we have open innovation, where you work and you can connect to large companies if you're a game developer. So we've seen that this is a growing demand for the next years, especially for the food industry and agribusiness. There's a lot of opportunity there. Entrepreneurs can come to Cebrae as suppliers as well, not only with initiatives, but also to offer their own products and services if you do gamification, not only for Cebrae, but for our clients. We have the Cebrae Tech program, which aims to have a technology bond with these companies that want to innovate. So if you're an entrepreneur, regardless of having a company or not, there are several ways in which you can be helped by Cebrae. And that's what we're here for. We're in all states of Brazil and the federal district. That's great. And I like what Dani said about finding your local community, finding a group or a collective. Maybe you have an association in your region. We still see this very frequently. What we called, garage developers who were only working with a few other people for to develop something. Of course, they need to get connected. They need to show what they're here for. They need to get a team together, and that's where game jams come in. Some people might be asking what a game jam is. Well, a game jam is a challenge, let's put it like that, where you try to develop a game or a prototype within a certain number of hours. So if you're a developer, you become a part of a team of 10 or 12 people. So, the roles you'll have to play in a company, being the business person, the production person, the art person, is what you have to do in a game jam. So you get organized in a team that needs to do all of that. That's very important because um, it's not that this is not the real world. Many big companies have game jams in their own uh, environments. So there are companies that have game jams once a week.
So this is innovation, to try things out with new teams, test out new ideas, switch things up. And this is what the gaming industry has very well. They know it very well. It's important to share knowledge. So participate, be part of the jams, look for the communities, be a member of one of the associations. You can ask, oh, what do I have to gain being part of the association? It's not what you gain, it's what you can give, what you can deliver, what you can learn and share with somebody. Because keeping knowledge to yourself in 2 years, that's it, that's gone. We need to pass on knowledge. We need to spread knowledge to the group. Otherwise, you won't be able to be in the sector for very long because it will go away. So look for the Cebraes before you, when you could become formal or even before that. But it's important to know that if you have a commercial partner at being sought after at some time, they're going to request a business plan. You have they need to find a way to pay you, to pay your friend. Okay, it's not going to work like that. So think about your game in terms of your target audience, because there are still some flaws, sometimes some failures in developing the game that you want, but you need to understand what the audience wants. So think about the others, think about the support on the other side of the screen. But Cebrae can explain all of this to you. They have mentorship, online mentorships, and online courses. I think it's really interesting. And I'm thinking a lot about the audiences on the other side. So is this worth it? This is a two-digit growth industry. And it's been like this for a few years here in Latin America. It was growing 7.7% a year around the world. And no matter what crisis, issues in the economy, this is a sector that is growing. It's a $200 billion revenue industry compared to other industries. You will see that we are not talking about child's play. It's more than twice the sum of the other industries of film, TV, and now with the streaming of games, things are going to really take off. There are two new revolutions about to take place: the 5G tech revolution. Everybody's going to be playing in the cloud. So today, it's something that is very complex to play on a cell phone or on a simple computer. It's really difficult because you need a lot of infrastructure. When we have 5G, everything will be up in the cloud, regardless of what device you have. You will have access to the best out there. And the other revolution that we're still waiting for is when for the VR headsets become mainstream, when these VR glasses and goggles will become accessible, and then the world of extended reality, virtual reality, whatever you may call it, is going to be something just that we do every day. It's going to be something we do with our cell phones. We're going to be in that world. We're going to be living that. And for us here in the gaming industry, we see this every day. Let's see if we have any other questions. Okay, we have a question here. Can an indie developer be a micro company? What do you think about co-working spaces that are specialized for gaming? 1, 2, 3. Let's choose Morillia. Now, I was thinking, I was trying to remember if I knew any category for the small and micro companies, but I'm not sure if there's a specific category. Maybe something similar to that. Not for developers, more for other activities, especially artistic activities. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's actually another challenge in terms of being able to include certain activities in a smaller medium company category. But when we want to create a micro or small company, we have these intellectual activities, and this is a creation of the federal government. We have Sebrae is a good partner in terms of uh, answering questions, but this is something that was created by the federal government, and we've had some activities included and then excluded depending on this type of categorization. But this is why it's really difficult for some specific areas, and development is one of those areas. I think we have a final question. What is the future view? What is your vision for the future in the games industry in the post-pandemic area? I've already said my piece. If you want to pitch in, my future is here. My future is here at home. It turned 1 yesterday. So as Eliana was saying, this is an industry that is growing a lot, very rapidly. It's a very thriving sector. And today, the players in the sector or coming into the industry will be also thinking about the new consumers, because regardless of the technology, things will only make sense if it makes sense for those who are going to play. So it's really important for those new entrepreneurs have these potential consumers in mind and know what they actually want to get. One market only exists when there are people consuming in that market. And that's what these new entrepreneurs need to think about. Okay, I need to develop a market. This is a thriving market, but what is this game? Who am I going to do it for? What do these people want? So it's a matter of aligning the vision of the entrepreneurs and who is actually going to consume it to actually have a market. As in the state of Rio Grande do Sul, this wasn't an industry that was prioritized due to this growth, due to the perspectives that we have for the market. It's not a market that is prioritized by the government. So it's important for us to have all of these questions answered. And there are many things that are evolving due to the pandemic in terms of connectivity, the internet, etc. But if you're getting ready now, you will be able to surf this wave a lot better from now on. I also think that we need to demystify the idea that games is only for the super games, for the big publishers. Games have applications to so many things that sometimes we don't really remember or know. And when we started, developers, our focus was the university students, and they would say, "Oh, I love gaming. I'm going to enjoy this show." And then when they realized that we were going backstage, and the one thing that we don't really do when developing is playing games. We need to think about several other things, several other connections that you actually need in order to develop a game. And then people would start and think, oh, well, and then they became attracted to this other part, the behind the screen, and how things work to actually create a game. And not only digital games, maybe analog games also have a huge market. We can have games applied to other business areas, as we've already mentioned. So I just wanted to point that out, that gaming is much more than just a digital game. It goes well beyond the big publishers and what we see in the market. Just wanted to point that out. Girls, unfortunately, our time is up. It was wonderful to talk with women from all over Brazil. Cebrae is in the game. It's game on. So let's get to work. Thank you, everyone. Have an excellent big festival, and bye, everyone. We thank you. This was such an interesting presentation. Brazil is the land of the games, but it's not just a region or a state. It was very clear. It was made very clear here to us. So thank you all to the women. And this is big festival. You just saw another amazing presentation, another lecture amazing, and we have much more to come until midnight.
Big Festival 2021, the biggest games festival in Latin America.